All right, go dogs.
Welcome to Movie Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is the final week of June Bernthal, but in honor of his death, we watched a terrible, terrible movie, and we got to watch Cormac McCarthy's The Counselor. Well, it's not his movie; it's Ridley Scott's movie, but Cormac McCarthy wrote it, and it sucks.
And I'm probably gonna get grief for this, but I put most of the problems with this movie on Ridley Scott. I don't think the script's very good, but I think that his ultra flat directing through this whole movie does not help the movie at all. Also, there's three problems with the movie, and one of them is the script. But the first problem is the direction. The second is the casting. This has some of the weirdest, hinging your whole movie on Cameron Diaz is just a terrible idea.
Never a good call.
And yeah, we'll get into it, but she's awful in this fucking movie. And
this movie is chock full of people, and it's weird. Did Ridley Scott call in all his favors, or did people desperately want to be in a Cormac McCarthy script?
I mean, this script was tossed around for a while, but it's probably also one of those things where, I mean, most of the roles pretty small, they probably filmed them in a weekend. You know what I mean? It's the same shit that You Bold did. You know what I mean? He just got people when they were around. And I mean, the other thing is that, this came out a few years after No Country for Old Men. So, who knows? It's not and it's not even outside of No Country, Cormac McCarthy is generally considered one of the greatest, at the time, living American writers. So, I mean, it's one of those things. But anyway, we'll get into it. It's a movie with a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a lot of problems.
I don't have I didn't do a synopsis, but I just wrote a shit ton of notes.
I honestly don't know how you could. The movie is impenetrable.
It's impenetrable.
It's so hard to follow. I thought for a minute that I fell asleep, and cause I was just lost. And then I paused the movie, and I went back, cause I was like, did I miss something? And no, it's very hard to follow. The movie
it was the end of the second act, beginning of the third, where they're doing something with the shit truck. And I paused the movie, and I just audibly said to myself in an empty room, what the fuck is happening? Because I thought I missed, I backpedaled. I thought I missed plot.
That's exactly what I did. I had the same problem. And, but anyway, we'll get into it. We got a whole show to talk about this. Let's talk about fun stuff first. What did you all watch this week? Alec?
I watched two things.
Oh, did you watch The Punisher last week? Did you get a chance to watch any of The Punisher over again?
I only got a chance to watch the first, I guess episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that show was good. I remember the ending being kind of lackluster.
Yeah, that's kind of our general consensus.
It starts off, that show starts off on fire.
Oh yeah.
With all the quote unquote Punisher, although I guess he's technically already known as the Punisher because of Daredevil, but all that stuff where he's doing construction and the construction guys are fucking with him and he gets his revenge and all that shit is
with the sandwich. Yeah.
Tremendous. And Bernthal with that beard is outstanding.
Agreed.
But I remember the feeling. I remember feeling at the time too, this show it went on too long. It didn't need to be 13 episodes. They needed to trim it down to 10. Cause guys, did you end up watching all of it?
I just watched the last three. I was able to get it just from Punisher, I was saying in the show, of all the Marvel characters, two things. He's the easiest to know, and he's the one I know the best. So I just picked a lot up from context, but I did not watch the previous.
In the show, there's a whole other plot line that I think is resolved before the episodes that you watched.
You're talking about
the bombing, then the guy with PTSD, and that's just I get why they had it in there, but it was unnecessary and slowed the whole show down and really added, literally it felt just like filler just to add episodes.
Well, watching it the way we watched it, it shows how, like, inconsequential that whole storyline really was. You know what I mean? Like, when you watch the last 3 episodes and they make no mention of it, it doesn't really tie in overall to the ending. It's like, oh yeah, that was just filler.
But I did overall, I remember liking it generally. But I think I liked season 2 of Daredevil with him in it better.
Oh yeah.
Especially when he first shows up and just kills an entire mob. Do you remember that, TJ?
Oh yeah.
And that Daredevil's like investigating, like, what the fuck happened here?
I mean, I think my favorite moment from that season was the conversation that Daredevil and Punisher have on top of that roof when Daredevil's like tied to the like water tower. Like that shit's, I love shit like that. Like I love the two like clashing ideologies, them like having like a long conversation. And that's like directly lifted from, the Marvel Knights Punisher, shit. So I love that. But
I distinctly remember the stuff with like Punisher plinking Daredevil in the head.
Yeah.
But they were like, he hit you specifically where he knew it wouldn't kill you. Like
right.
He hit your helmet at a point where he knew it wouldn't penetrate and kill you. He just wanted to take you out.
Yeah, shit's awesome. I love it.
Like, watch that instead of Punisher, guys. Not that Punisher was bad, but Daredevil stuff was fucking tremendous.
Yeah, all the Daredevil seasons are really, really
was
good.
Was that season 2 or 3?
I gotta finish the third one. Season 2 of Daredevil was tremendous because it had Daredevil and the Punisher shit, and
Elektra.
Elektra was in it. And it introduced like the Hand, and like it was fucking nuts.
Yeah, it was really good. And then they ruined the Hand because of the Defenders show, but that's fine.
Yeah,
it was real dumb.
That show is not great. It's funny that like we talked about all this shit like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had a like 15-minute like Defenders conversation, and now like on TikTok I'm getting like clips from like the Defenders and from like all the Marvel Netflix shows. Like little like 2-minute clips popping up all over TikTok for me, and I'm like, you know what? I don't mind it. It's just weird the timing of it.
Big Brother's always listening. That's I guess.
It's fine as long as they keep tailoring shit the way that I like it. Like,
right.
Keep on listening. I got nothing to hide. I don't got no state secrets here.
I have to take care of my boxes. Alex has a bunch of boxes in his bathroom. Like.
So. I watched 2 movies. For some reason, I feel like I watched the third one, but I guess not because I didn't write it down. I write everything down. The first one I watched was Flamin' Hot.
Oh, you watched that? The Hulu movie.
Yeah, about the guy who invented the Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yeah, how was that?
It's fun. It's good. It's entertaining.
Is it like a mockumentary? Is it a legit like what is it?
It's based on an article about this guy, but there's like, when you start reading about him, there's varying levels of, not truth, but varying levels of what people agree actually happened versus what is fiction.
Okay.
So the guy was basically like a janitor, and he's responsible for Flamin' Hot Cheetos and like all the Flamin' Hot stuff. Cause
man's a genius. I love that shit.
He had he wanted his plant that he was working at or somewhere in California was like losing business cause Frito was losing business and they weren't tapping into all their potential, markets. They had, they basically at that point had Fritos, Doritos, Cheetos, and Lay's potato chips, and that was it. And just like the flavors you remember from back then, Doritos were regular and Cool Ranch.
Right.
Chips were regular, sour cream and onion, and
barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue. And like that was it. So he decides to tap into his Latino roots, cause he's Mexican living in SoCal, and him and his wife come up with a slurry of spices to make the Flamin' Hot brand. And they slather it on a bunch of Cheetos, and he sends bags to the president of Frito-Lay, and they decide to make them. And then he gets promoted and made like the Frito's head of like diversity marketing or something like that.
Because I don't like Flaming Hot Cheetos. I'll put it on Front Street.
The hell's the matter with you? Mayo, white boy.
How long? I in my mind, Flaming Hot Cheetos are brand spanking new. They're within like the last 3 years. How long ago did he do this?
This was like 20 years ago.
For real? They've been around that long?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time, dude.
But like,
I think they're only hot right now. Like, right?
At first, they were pretty much marketed like to Latinos.
Wow.
Like they started them off like in Latino communities because they thought Latinos were the only ones who wanted spicy stuff. And now they're
apparently so, thanks to Gogs.
Now, Gogs is Latino.
I am Latino, so I'm bucking their market research right now.
Yeah. Your whiteness overtook it.
But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It's not super serious. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
It's not like a tragic story. He didn't get like screwed over by Frito-Lay or anything like that.
They absolutely took care of him.
Oh, that's good.
Like
that's awesome.
Like I said, they made him like the president of, or the VP of like diversity marketing for the whole company.
Isn't it sad that like my immediate thought is he must have gotten fucked out of money or something because that's just what they do.
I still believe he probably did. I don't like. I have no faith in corporations at all. So
yeah.
like the guy who invented the windshield wiper.
Yeah,
that guy got screwed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Or the guy that invented the fucking super soaker. Like that guy got fucked over. Like pretty much name like any invention, and yeah, they probably got fucked over.
Yeah, if you invented something and you already worked for a company, like you didn't get shit.
Yeah,
which I kind of get, but still
like you invented it under the roof, so they're kind of laying claim to it.
Yeah, it's like, if you ever hear the story about like ESPN when they had all their kooky commentators, and like when you got hired, you had to list like your catchphrases.
What?
Oh, and they would like patent them or they would trademark them or whatever.
I had no idea.
Well, you had to list them so they'd be so whatever you like brought was your intellectual property. If you like came up with something else while you were there, ESPN owned it, so they could mark it off of it.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And I don't think it really matters anymore because I don't know that any of those guys still do that shit like they used to.
No, but I do remember in the heyday,
the only one left.
Yeah, the heyday of ESPN, they were all about catchphrases. Like everybody had a fucking catchphrase.
The other thing I watched was a movie. I forget where I saw it or what it was on. Oh, I can't remember. It's a movie called After We Leave. It's set in a slightly in the future. It's like a Logan future. Like enough stuff is the same, but also you see slight advancements.
A day
like Looper.
Yeah, sure.
A day not far from tomorrow. I always like using that.
Yeah. But basically, like, the Earth is fucked.
So like current.
Yeah, it's not too far off from now.
Yeah.
But the Earth is fucked. And there are these lotteries for space shuttles for people they've colonized the moon. And there's lotteries for space shuttles to get you there. Like, you get a spot. Like, they reserve so many spots for, like, scientists and rich people and shit. But then they have lotteries for like normies. And this normie wins the lottery. But when he entered the lottery, he entered it with his wife, who he then left. But you have to go together because you win the lottery as like a pair. Mm-hmm. Because they want healthy people that can make babies colonizing the moon. So he's on his way to try to find his wife. That he left so that they can claim their spot together and go to the moon and get saved. And I mean, if the premise didn't already tell you, he's kind of a scumbag. So he's like kind of underhanded. He's going back to his old stomping grounds and dealing with all the shitty people he used to deal with. Having to like, one guy's like, well, I can tell you where she is, but you got to help me not allow her to knock over this bank first or whatever. Like, he's kind of a scumbag.
Mhm.
Movies, it's okay. It looks good. The acting is not great. I wish I could remember what I watched it on.
You watched it in traffic in through the back of somebody's car. Like he had it in his dashboard thing.
Yeah,
No, I'm
somebody's Honda Odyssey had the rear TV flipped down.
I'm not Gogs.
Oh, sorry.
I can't view things that way.
Try it out. It's not bad.
In its favor, it was only 84 minutes long, so I didn't feel
automatically at least a 4 or 5. Yeah.
Was there anybody?
I didn't feel bad that I watched it. No, not at all.
I mean, I don't hate the premise. Like I like the premise.
The main guy looked kind of like an older Lucas Black.
Oh, interesting.
That's a weird guy to look like.
I mean, Lucas Black's a handsome guy.
I know, it's just that's an actor I don't really think of very often, so it's like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's the only reason that I like thought of him is because he looks a lot like him. Like if Lucas Black was like 15 years older.
It's like Louis Black's stunt double.
Yeah, but the guy who wrote and directed it really didn't do anything else, and nobody in it has really done anything else. Like it was fine. It wasn't great, but for 84 minutes. And like 5 minutes of his credits, like whatever. I can watch an hour and 15-minute movie and not feel too bad about it being okay at best. That is it. I haven't watched any shows or anything really. Actually, we're halfway through this documentary on the 4-part documentary on Prime about the Duggar family.
Oh.
The Duggars?
The weird, like, religious people. Or, evangelicals.
The kid who molested his sisters and then got arrested for child pornography later on.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Gross.
That is fucking disgusting.
But we're halfway through that and it talks about all their, like, religion and shit. That's just like most organized religions. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah, and they follow it so well. I must have missed the whole molest your sister in the Bible. I haven't read it in a while.
You skipped that chapter.
That's in Corinthians. I think people go right past Corinthians.
I skip it. Yeah, I go right to the good parts. I have a dog.
I'm pretty sure that's it. Gogs.
I watched 2 1/2s of things, and I finished Enemy.
Was it the first half, the second half of the
There's the movie? Second half of, it was the second half of Enemy.
I forgot you started that, the Denis Villeneuve movie.
The Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, didn't you start that a couple of weeks ago?
I did. What
did you think of that? That is a very, I would imagine, now don't answer yet. I would imagine you didn't like it. Cause like, I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I had to watch it twice. And then I was like, oh, okay, I like it now. Like, it took me a while.
I didn't
warm up to it.
I didn't hate it
very abruptly.
I didn't hate it, but I don't think it didn't do what I expected it to do. So that's good. It subverted my expectations. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you. Like, I read something on like Vulture or something. I was like, what the fuck's this movie about? Because I couldn't fucking put 2 and 2 together the whole time.
It's very weird, and it's not the easy, like, it's super weird, and like,
the explanation of what's happening sounds way up its own ass. So like, I don't know.
It depends on your interpretation of it, right? Like, I think I know what it's about. Like, it's a movie within a movie, right? Like, in a weird way. And I think go ahead.
Well, I mean, Alec, do you have any interest in seeing this movie?
No.
Jake Gyllenhaal's, okay, so at one point in this, several points in this movie, once right around the middle, and then right at the very end, there are two just like,
Giants.
so the movie's about Jake Gyllenhaal meeting Jake Gyllenhaal, and you're like, is this a Tyler Durden thing?
Mhm.
Are they separated at birth twins? They are like identical down to their scars. Like, what is happening here? And it's not resolved in a way that satisfies me to understand what they are, unless they're the two halves of a person's personality that manifest into real life, because
Right.
they act very differently, and it's expressed mostly through how they treat their significant other.
And
then at the end of the movie, it almost seems like it's resolving itself that the correct one is with the correct significant other, because they are both getting out of the relationship the one thing they want, as opposed to having, like, the one wants sex without love, the other one wants love without sex. So it seems like that is rectifying itself, but then the dead center of it, there's a giant spider lurking over Toronto, just out of nowhere. And then, and there's like a sex club or maybe that's like alluded at in the beginning and then mentioned towards the middle. And then at the very end, when like the Jake Gyllenhaal that wants love, bangs the other Jake Gyllenhaal's pregnant wife, and he's like checking in on her, and she knows what's up actually, but she's not letting on. And he goes into the room to see her. She's become a spider that's the size of like a refrigerator. And then the movie just ends. And then I read the Vulture article. I was like, what the fuck did I just see? And they're like, well, the spider represents the duality, the Madonna horror complex of femininity. I'm like, what?
The spider represents obvious.
I'll send you something, Doug. I don't really like that. I watched a video that was like a lot more. I like watched the video and then I rewatched the movie and I was like, I kind of see what they're getting at. But no, there's a lot of theories about that movie. I don't know. I like that movie a lot because there's a lot going on in that movie, and like I feel like it is benefited by rewatching it. Like I enjoyed it a lot more the second time I watched it. The first time I was like, I'm into this. I don't really understand it, but I wanted to learn more basically. Like there's a lot of good things about that movie, and I don't know, me personally, I liked it. It's a little too weird for its own good at times, but I still liked it overall.
I mean, you get really good performances out of Jake Gyllenhaal. You get like really good performances out of everybody. It's shot really cool. You can tell it's like early in Villeneuve's career, but like that's all good. I'm just like sitting there just scratching my head going,
oh, it's very artsy fartsy. Like it's very, very artsy fartsy.
It's like a little up its own ass.
Sure. But
I so maybe I need to send me whatever thing and I'll
send it. I'll send it to you. Like I said, I watched it and I had a lot of questions and I had ideas, and then I watched this video. I think Sean might have sent it to me. And I watched it and I was like, I don't necessarily, a lot of times with these interpretation videos, like I don't agree with all of his points, but it definitely made me look at the movie at a different perspective. And I think I appreciated it more. But anyway, what else did you watch?
Well, then the other one
one more thing. I'm sorry. So there is another Denis Villeneuve movie that I'd never seen I think it's called Incendiaries
I've heard of that.
It's on the Plex. And if you want to watch it, check it out. Cause it's supposed to be, apparently, I don't know, again, I don't know anything about it. I literally don't know anything about it. But apparently it has like the most soul crushing like ending or twist. I don't know if it's a twist.
Is it a period piece that's like set in like the frontier West?
No.
Or am I thinking of something different?
I know that much about. No, you're thinking of Hostels, isn't that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
wasn't
of.
Denis Villeneuve, but that was Scott
Cooper.
Scott Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, we saw that movie.
Yeah, I think me and Alex saw that movie.
That was my first movie pass movie I ever saw.
Yeah, I like that movie. It was very brutal.
We saw it in that shitty Owings Mills theater.
Yeah.
Before they revamped it. That was like the last movie I think I've seen in a theater that didn't have recliner seats.
Yeah. Have you been to that theater
awful.
lately? It's fucking weird because they knocked down the mall, so it's just like it looks like there's like a bomb that hit in the middle of the mall because it's gone. It's all gone.
Yeah, that's where we went and saw Endgame.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh my god. I have no memory. Anyway.
So the other thing I watched half of, doesn't take anywhere near as much film theory to wrap your head around. I watched I got to the salient points of Twins, That
Oh
movie
yeah.
is insane.
Oh, love twins. Love twins.
Love twins, but like that movie
you
is
missed
like,
the show and I talked about it a few weeks ago. I watched it a few weeks ago. The movie's fucking awesome.
yeah, like I thought so. I thought there was a reason it was stuck in my crawl. Like it, we don't have to get into twins. We all know twins, right? But like Liz and I were having a conversation about it. It's like, how do you think it feels to be Danny DeVito? I mean, I'm sure it feels great to be Danny DeVito. He seems like a great dude. He seems to like love his career and love his life. But like when you're pitched this movie, it's like, oh, by the way, we're looking for someone to represent the diametrically opposed uber alpha person, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And we think that is you. We think you clearly represent, whereas he is like Mr. Universe and the epitome of mankind and genetics. We would like to cast you in a role that's to represent the failure of genetics. How do you feel about that, Dan?
I would have to say at that point, with Arnold being who Arnold was at that point, any man on earth would be underneath Arnold like that at that point.
Yeah.
There's not too many men that would be his equal. Everybody would be sub Arnold.
Oh, and I don't disagree. What I'm saying is, not only do you need to be sub Arnold, you need to be everything that he is. He is not. Like, it's like, on top of being just a lesser man, because most were, you are such the lesser man that we couldn't get any lower. Like, we need the polar opposite of you. And that's what I wonder. But I love it. I love the two of them together. They're great in it. It is just a corny, insane, like just the pitch for that movie must have been insane. But it's a good time. And
the ridiculous gag at the end with like 5,000 yards of chain.
Yeah.
Just collapsing off that night. I forgot all about that until I watched it. I was like, oh yeah, the chain comes down for like literally 5 minutes of screen time. And they're just looking at each other like, when's this chain gonna end?
Yeah. Ivan Reitman's a real gem. And then other things I've watched, we're still watching Sopranos, still great. Still catching up on that. We're well through season 2 now, almost done. And to switch it up, because we hadn't watched it yet, and I don't know if you guys have watched this yet or not, and if you have, and I should know this, I apologize. We started watching The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh,
I watched the first season. It's really good. I need to catch up.
That show is
it's awesome.
The best.
Like we watched the first episode. I was smitten. I can't wait to watch the rest.
It's so good. Yeah.
It is my favorite thing that Danny McBride has done, and that's saying a lot.
I was gonna say that's saying quite a bit.
Like, it's so good.
Thus far, he's been great in it. Like John Goodman, like just just an absolute unit. Like
Adam Devine's really funny.
Adam Devine's great in it.
The sister whose name I can never remember.
Is she from something else? Because I couldn't place her.
She was in Silent. Remember what was the name of that fucking movie we watched? The Christmas Die Hard movie.
Oh, she was.
Yeah,
she was the
Violent
sister.
Night.
Oh, she was in Violent Night. That's where it is.
She's in that.
Yeah,
she's funny. She's really funny.
Yeah, that show is so far pretty great. So I'll be reporting on that. But that's everything.
As you should. The newest season of that just started like yesterday.
Yeah, they're pushing it pretty heavy on on Max. Whatever the fuck they're calling it now.
Max.
So I was like, you know what? Let's dig in. I mean, it's got nothing but people I like, so I got to figure it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And you haven't even gotten to, it's got Walton Goggins in it.
Yeah, Walton Goggins shows up.
He's so good.
I got to figure he's
big surprise.
Is he like a rival preacher? Because that would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, basically.
Awesome. But yeah, that's everything. TJ.
I didn't watch anything. I watched one TV thing. I was gonna watch something today, but I got home late and then we started this early, so it's fine. I just been fucking busy. I watched the first episode of the new season of Black Mirror. It sucks. I hated it. It was terrible. I hear that there's good episodes this season, but this first episode, it's called Jonah's Awful. It's really bad. And like, I'm just going to put it on Front Street. Like, when Black Mirror does like comedy, I hate it. I don't think it works. Like, I like it when it's more like more hard edged, like fucked up ending, Tales from the Crypt kind of stuff. That's more my jam. So this might just not have been the episode for me. But my biggest problem with this is it seemed just super derivative, and it's like, it's the whole episode hinges on a joke that South Park made 20 years ago. You remember that episode, Gogs? I think it was the Human Centipede episode where
Yes.
they human centipeded Kyle, and it was because he didn't read the TOS for like his iPad or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the joke in this episode. Basically, this woman, Joan, she's like, you know, she's going through a lot of shit. Like, she's unhappy in her relationship with her fiance. Her ex is back in town, and she's like considering rekindling that. Like, her job's not going well. And then like one day she comes home and Netflix, like she turns on Netflix and it's a show about her that's called Joan is Awful. And you find out that like the Netflix can use her likeness because she didn't read the TOS because it's all in there. And
is it actual Netflix or is it?
No, they call it like, I mean, it could be because it's on fucking
It's
Netflix.
on. I was wondering if they were being that
no, they
self-aware.
call. I mean, no, they call it like Streamberry or something. But like, it's the Netflix font. It makes the boom sound like it's Netflix. But so then so that's the first layer of the bad joke, and then like it gets worse because then they describe the reason they can make the show so fast is because it's all like CGI and all this bullshit, and then you find they go to the fucking Netflix headquarters and they find out that it's literally a magic computer that's making all this shit. And then you find out that Michael Cera shows up and then he gives us this fucking Rick and Morty bullshit about how like that the characters that we've been with the whole time aren't the real characters either, and that they only live in one level of a fictive reality. And like, I just don't care. Like it is terrible. I hated it. Apparently, like I said, I've heard positive things about other episodes this season, but that first episode was a dud. It was really, really bad. And like, by the time they get to the Michael Cera stuff, and I was happy to see Michael Cera. We all know that I love Michael Cera.
Who doesn't?
But by the time they got to his point, I'm like, can you just like end this already? Like, it needs to be over. So not a fan. And that's all I watched. Like I said, I didn't have a chance to, I started watching a really bad, like, cause again, I haven't had time to do anything, a really bad, like, fan cam of fucking, Across the Spider-Verse, but it looked like shit. And I'm like, nah, I'm not subjecting myself to this. I'm too much of a fucking, like, quality nerd. I'm like, I can't watch this like this. It's not fair. So, hopefully with this, holiday weekend, coming up, I'll be able to have some time to get to the theater, cause I really want to see that. I'm probably going to subject myself to see The Flash because apparently it's that bad and I feel like I need to see it. So maybe I'll see both back to back.
I'd heard some people say that they like The Flash. Is it
idiots? No, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, maybe, but like everything I've heard from people's opinions that I trust, it sounds like the worst fucking movie. Like, I don't know. I'm going to go see it. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I mean, it might be good. I doubt it. But we'll see. I mean, but anyway, so yeah, let's get into The Counselor, a movie that I'm pretty sure is 5.5 hours long.
It is. I think it is like with 2:15.
It's too long. And I'm going to say this, I want to get this out of the way. This movie has like the Bicentennial Man problem where I feel like it doesn't start until an hour into the movie. Like the first hour
it starts, I don't. Here's what I'm gonna do.
The propulsionary thing in the plot happens an hour in, and then it's like then the rest of the movie happens. But like the first hour of this movie is just dialogue and like it not particular, like it just doesn't go anywhere. It's just people.
It opens with an overly long and kind of uncomfortable sex scene, and I'll keep it real with you.
Fucking Michael or what's his name?
Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender's got fucking cum juice on his face. I'm like, what is this? Like, do I need to see this? Like, I'm no prude, but like, what the fuck am I watching?
It was wildly unnecessary.
And then it's like, I want you to finger me, and it's like, what?
It's not the word she said.
Finger fuck me.
There it is.
And it's like, what the fuck am I watching? And that scene, like, I guess it's supposed to establish their like passionate, like, romance between each other, but, like,
Miss me with that.
no, yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. In lieu, I'm just gonna I wrote a whole bunch of notes. So I'm just gonna read my notes and then we can talk about it.
It's impossible. If you wrote an actual, like, point-to-point synopsis,
No,
I don't think it's possible.
I'm just gonna throw these out there, and then once I'm done, we can react, or we can react individually. I don't care.
It's fine. Just go.
Okay. In lieu of a plot, they just made the bold choice to add more actors that you know in one-off scenes. This movie is full of ideas and scenes, but none of them gel. Why is Brad Pitt so obsessed with snuff? What was the diamond guy going on about with the Greeks and the Jews and the death of culture?
Also, the funny part about that scene, so that, I don't know if you know this, guys, but that is Bruno Gantz, R.I.P., he's a great actor.
I don't know what that means.
Bruno Gantz that's his name. He's a German actor. He played Adolf Hitler in Downfall, the movie that everybody memes with Hitler in the, that's Bruno Gantz. Like, he's a brilliant actor, and like, it was weird and like possibly stunt casting that he has this weird, like monologue about the Holocaust while he is like most known, at least to Western audiences, for playing Hitler in Downfall. I thought that was kind of funny.
Okay. Well, there you go, a little inside baseball for you.
Also, I'm going to say this too for this scene. This scene is like ridiculous and his monologue goes on way too long, like most of them. But like the difference between him delivering these monologues and like Cameron Diaz delivering these monologues is palpable. Like, Bruno Gantz is a real actor, and it's like I still don't like the scene, but like at least he delivers his lines with like conviction, and I'm like, okay, like I guess. It's like Cameron Diaz tries to do the same thing, and it is horrendous.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
It's not just her. Everybody's bad in this movie.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt was bad in this movie, and Brad Pitt's not bad in
anything.
Brad Pitt is fine. His character makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. His character. What is his character doing?
What is anybody doing? Why, like, Michael Fassbender's character, he's like the middleman for like every crime guy in the world? Like, that what?
Well, let me just finish these up and then we can talk about it.
Go ahead.
All right. Like, what is Cameron Diaz's plot? And am I to believe she's from Barbados, the home of Rihanna and Grandmaster Flash? Yeah. Was another woman of color not available? Like, did she have Rosie Perez's kid killed to steal the cocaine, to tip off the cartel or another cartel to send the cocaine to Chicago, where it was always supposed to go just to bump off her husband and steal Brad Pitt's money? Like, what the hell? Is she just a malevolent predator? Is she just like the devil going to confessions just to fuck with the Catholics? What was her deal? Is she supposed to be like?
She literally is. So like,
is she supposed to be like Sugar?
Yes, yeah. Cormac McCarthy loves his and the Coen brothers. He loves his force of nature villains, right?
Right.
Like the Judge in Blood Meridian, like Anton Chigurh, and that's what she is. But it does not work, at all. But that's what she is. And by the end of the movie, like that, she's just there to like reap chaos. And it does not work at all. Right. And like the whole time, again, like I definitely agree with Alec that most people are bad in this movie, but like the whole time I was like, couldn't they got like Julianne Moore? I feel like she would have been better in this role. Like anyone other than Cameron Diaz, because she is lost with this stagey dialogue. Like she
has like a Titan car sex scene. Like, yeah. It's fucking weird, and it's uncomfortable, and I don't care for it.
I kind of feel that. I mean, you could kind of say that about the majority of this movie, because this movie's like really horny. It's very odd. Like every time you see Javier Bardem, he's just talking about fucking, and it's like it's really weird and like off-putting. And I guess that's what his character is, because he's like, I guess is in italics. Like he's like hedonistic. Like he's like he's all he cares about is money and sex, right? Like that's
Brad Pitt kind of alludes to it at some point, because he's like, yeah, he sort of lost his way. and he's becoming too much about the life or whatever. But I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah, I
well,
don't
here, let me,
care. Go ahead.
here we go.
Sorry.
Well, I'm almost done. Did Fassbender just fall into this situation? Did he even
Yeah.
do the deal he was trying to do? It seems like everything was still in the planning stages. Also, he lives in a baller-ass Tony Stark house for taking court-appointed clients and buying 3.8 carat diamonds from Amsterdam. Like, what money does he need? How is he connected to any of this to start with? There's that question. For a counselor, he sure is taking a lot of advice from other people. Javier Bardem, huh? Thank you, Al. Javier Bardem looks like he is Robert Downey Jr. and Al Pacino's Latin cocaine cousin with a bad spray tan.
His fits though were fucking.
His fits were insane. His hair was bananas.
His fit was fire. Like his fucking shirts in this movie were absolutely.
They were straight from Dan Flash's. They were so complicated.
The motherfucker had cheetahs. He had 2 cheetahs.
They just 2 Lucy cheetahs.
Yeah.
Here we go. Is Rosie Perez psychic?
Oh God, yeah, they did the thing when one of the only parts of the movie that I liked when the head got cut off, but she did the dumb like I know something's wrong.
Right,
thing.
her spider sense went off. Right. All right. When the best part of the movie is a 5-minute scene with Toby Kebbell and zero context, it means we have issues.
Yeah, and that was fucking weird. Toby Kebbell was good in the 2 seconds he was in it. I think I just like Toby Kebbell, but like that scene was weird, and like what it's hinting at, like I think I understand what this.
Well, it's hinting at that Fassbender's a scumbag who will do you dirty.
Right, and it's that he's got a lot of history of just kind of doing his own thing, and he doesn't care. But like that's not illustrated at all in the rest of the film.
No, unless somehow his love for her name escapes me.
Penelope Cruz.
Unless that is like righted him, and now he's like a force for good.
Well, I think that's what the movie is trying to get at, because you have the cartel leader, right? He has that whole monologue about like, you know, everything, love changes everything, and it's out of rat. Like, but like, I don't know how to put it. Like, I think you said it best, guys. You said that this movie has a lot of ideas, but none of them coalesce. Like, they don't come together. And it's like, I agree with that, because like, it's like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing in this movie. Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't ever.
I think the fingers on the same hand are confused. Like, they don't know what's going on.
Like establish. It doesn't establish any of the characters correctly. Like, I understand from context that Michael Fassbender is a lawyer, but like how he is the liaison to every criminal in the world, I don't understand. And like what he actually does, I don't understand.
So wait, so taking it back half a step as I'm reflecting on this, he's court appointed to Rosie Perez, or is that just a front? Because she's like a cartel member, right?
I think that was a front. I think I could be wrong.
Okay.
Again, the movie doesn't really tell you very much.
Okay. So now moving on.
Also, I would not be surprised if this was one of those scripts that was like 600 pages and they're like, okay, we need to cut this down a lot.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that like just goes unexplained or unfleshed out, but everyone is reacting to like it's canon, and it's very confusing.
Well, even the subplot, I mean, it's almost the main plot, where Rosie Perez's like Green Hornet-esque motorcycle rider son gets killed. Like, that is kind of introduced out of nowhere from 2 people. You're like, who the fuck are these people? Like, what? And I will say though, that fucking garrote wire cut in his head.
Oh, that was a cool scene. The prep for that was a cool scene.
That was like, cool. And the fucking this is the garrote, the like automatic like neck cutter.
Oh
thing.
yeah,
that was fucking brutal.
Fucking Chekhov's chokehold or whatever the fuck that thing was.
That thing was fucking awesome. But like 2 cool scenes in a movie does not a movie make. No.
All right, so we're almost done. Oh, so what is the theme of this movie? Shit happens. There's no forgiveness. Life is going to fuck you up and your choices are irredeemable. Is it that your fate is set and you can't correct it? Or is it once you set a path, you can't change it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't think the movie knows.
I have no idea. I have no idea what the point of this movie was, like, at all.
Because it almost seems like most of the movie seems to be telling you that Fassbender gets in over his head accidentally and over and like too completely to ever get himself out of it. Because like a traditional movie would probably have him save Penelope Cruz or redeem himself or something instead of her getting killed in a snuff film, presumably.
But the problem is that I don't know anything about fucking Michael Fassbender's character, like, at all. Like,
Does he even have a name? No one addresses him by anything but counselor the whole time, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right. Also, is that guy just traveling forever in that drum just rotting? Like, is he supposed to represent something? I don't know. And lastly, yeah, what you said, it certainly subverts expectations because the main character doesn't even have a sniff at redemption. His fate is sealed with him barely acting. Like, he's a kind of a passenger along for the ride.
He really doesn't do anything. Like, and I at the end of the day, like, I guess that, again, like, Cameron Diaz is like the big bad and she's manipulating all these pieces, but to what end and why? Like, why did she have it out for Michael Fassbender?
I think he was just convenient, right?
Why did she need the money from Brad Pitt? Like, what was that about? Also nice to see the chick
Natalie Dormer.
Yeah, the chick from Game of Thrones, because, man, she's good looking. I forgot all about her. I was like, oh yeah, her.
Like,
also, she's really good for the 4 seconds she's in the movie. Her dialogue with Cameron Diaz is, like, really painful, because, like, she's reacting the correct way, like, just like an actor. And, like, Diaz is, like, stone-faced the whole time. It's just like, oh my god.
The tension in the scene where all the joggers keep running by Brad Pitt
was great.
Good. That's a cool scene. And it resolves itself in a neat way. But like, I'm not misreading it, right? Like, in the end where Fassbender gets that CD that just says Hola, that's the video of Penelope Cruz dying, right?
Yeah, I would assume it has to be. And then you see her body, like, at the end of the movie.
He doesn't even watch it. He just starts crying.
I guess he just knows.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
These are all there's nothing, the movie is just, for those of you who's like, what is this movie actually about? It's about, I guess,
I don't know what it's about.
A guy trying to cash in on his connections to the underworld to make some extra coin that he doesn't seem to really need, because there's never, at no point
he seems like the most wealthy person in the world.
Dude, his kitchen is insane. Like,
and he's also like, he's like flying everywhere. Like, this movie is like globe hopping. Like,
there's nobody, like, he's never like harassed for money.
He's throwing away phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever like, there's no plot point where it's like, you owe us the money by midnight or else. Like, there's no reason for him to get bent into this other than, I guess, greed, which is maybe that's what they're trying to tell you.
But again, you don't spend enough time with his character. I have no idea what his fucking motivations are. Like, I don't understand this plot, like, at all. Like, I'll be on Front Street. Like, I was totally lost in this fucking movie. I was hoping at some point there was going to be something that, like, turned the light switch and we're like, oh, I get it now. No, nothing. Nothing at all. Like,
nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Alec, what do you think?
This movie's trash.
There it is.
Cormac McCarthy, good riddance.
Hey,
atta
go.
Now, this, like, it from the beginning, I was like, oh, this is going to be boring. Like, there's so much dialogue. Like, sometimes less is more, man. He's got the whole, like, I don't know, 10-minute scene where I guess it's after Penelope Cruz is kidnapped, but he's talking to, Michael Fassbender's talking to, El Jefe or whatever.
Yeah,
he's the guy who played Danny from Predator 2.
The cartel guy.
Yeah. And he's like, to quote Machado, and he's like, come on, like, shut the fuck up.
Manny Machado?
No. Like, and he goes and like spouts off like a 15-minute poem by Machado. Like, come the fuck on. Who the fuck talks like that? Nobody. Like, sometimes less is more, man. You made The Road. That's way less.
Oh yeah.
And it equals like way more.
There's like 6 lines of dialogue in that movie.
Yeah, like this movie is, don't let Cormac McCarthy write dialogue, because his dialogue is garbage.
His dialogue is not terrible I mean, No Country for Old Men basically wholesale lifts most of the dialogue from the book. So it can be good. Again, I really do think that direction plays a huge part in a lot of this movie. Like, because the other thing is that when you have these, like, let's take No Country for Old Men, for example, right? The final scene of that movie is literally just Tommy Lee Jones talking for what, like 10 minutes? But like the way it's shot and the way that scene is framed, it's still interesting. Like the problem with this movie, like, well, again, one of the problems with this movie is that it's like how George Lucas stages people talking. It's just like, it's just a shot and it's just them talking. Like it's so like flat and boring and like take me into like, why, like, give me something else. I'm watching this movie, like, you gotta give me something, you know.
This movie, I don't know if either of you did this. I did this. I didn't know anything about this. Huh?
Fell asleep?
No, I watched the trailer before.
I did not.
The trailer's fucking fire. The trailer it gaslights the hell, or it catfishes the hell out of you, because the trailer's like, oh, this is gonna be like intriguing, and like there's going to be a bunch of like, they show all the good action beats in the trailer. I figured that was just a taste. It's just awful.
No. Yeah, and I mean, like, I feel bad for somebody that's to cut a trailer for this movie, because like, what do you do? I really feel like I'd love to know more about the production of this movie. I tried to look for it and I didn't really find anything, but like, it just seems like incomplete in so many ways. Like there's just, like, nothing comes together. It's such a confusing mess. Like, I don't know how this even, like, got, like, this doesn't feel like a final draft. Like, this feels like they're like, I don't know, just fucking put it out there. Like, people will figure it out.
But
like,
you said it made a bunch of money.
It did make a bunch of money. It made its budget and then some. I think it was a $78 million budget and they made like 120, something like that, which still is good. But again, like, I think all that star power, literally, like, people just saw like, oh, Brad Pitt's in this movie, I'm going to go see this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I have a feeling that's what it was, but I can't, cause I remember, I mean, I'm on Front Street. I'm a diehard Cormac McCarthy fan. I remember when this came out, and I remember the reception was generally pretty negative, and I didn't hear anyone talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? I just heard the initial reviews, and then it kind of came and went, and most people forgot about this movie existing, and I can understand why. But it's just it is a confusing mess. It is a spaghetti of nothing. Like, it's nasty. I don't know. And it's full of...
I feel so bad for Michael Fassbender, because I think he's a good actor that just gets attached to shit projects.
I mean, he's
been plenty of good stuff. Don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, he's been in plenty of stuff that's good. But the other thing is, like, also, I'm not sure when this movie takes place, because it doesn't ever give you a year, but at one point, Javier Bardem refers to the Houston football team as the Oilers. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Well,
that makes no sense, because they all have cell phones too, so.
Right. Well, I think maybe that might have been like a fucking artifact for, this script again has been kicked around for a long time. So like
they were just like, fuck it, leave it in.
Or like nobody knows sports. There's like, oh yeah, that sounds fun.
So I actually have a weird timestamp for us on this thing.
Okay.
Cause something happened in this movie that fucked me up.
Okay.
At some point, I look it up again. At some point, Cameron Diaz is like looking at her smartphone, and her smartphone is a Tag Heuer phone. Tag Heuer, the watch company.
Yeah, I know the company. Yeah.
And this luxury phone was $53,000 or $5,300 in 2013.
No shit.
So I suspect when did the Oilers become the Texans? It was after 2013, though, right?
A long time.
Oh yeah, the Oilers moved to Tennessee in like the 90s.
Oh, that's right. They were the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, so
anyway, they haven't been.
And then the
Oilers.
Texans came around in like 2002.
Yeah, it's a long time.
There haven't been Oilers since the mid 90s.
Yeah. Well, then I don't know. The Tag Heuer phone thing screwed me up. I was like, what the hell is that? And why?
I just thought it was
like the cell phones were readily available enough. This movie had to be at least like 2010.
Yeah.
Like smartphones being available to everybody.
Yeah. I don't
But
know,
like,
man.
why in this movie did they have to kill Penelope Cruz?
Just to make it
Like,
sad and hopeless. I
pretty
think
much. Like, there's literally no reason.
she's like
for
the
it.
only good
Well,
thing in this movie.
she's like the motivation for Fassbender, I guess. So
Yeah, but
that
he's ultimately at the end of the movie, he was inconsequential to her plans. too.
you're right.
It might just
'Cause
be that
he
Cameron
didn't have to
Diaz
do-
just wanted.
all
Cameron
Cameron
Diaz not.
Diaz wanted to do was steal Brad Pitt's money.
I
Right.
think Cameron Diaz wants to ruin things for people, and every scene with her and Penelope Cruz seemed like she just wanted to just take the wind out of her sails.
Also,
And so maybe it was just a spiteful thing for her to do.
I totally forgot their interactions. Their interactions made no sense. The
Right.
two of them, I was like, what? And like, it seemed like at first that maybe like Penelope Cruz is like cheating on Michael Fassbender with her. And then, I don't know, she's like, you're not a lesbian, are you? And she's like, no, of course not. It was like, what the fuck? What is this? Like, I guess I get her, Cameron Diaz's character is literally just like evil. Like she's
Right.
just, like that's all she is. But like what, like her tendrils and everything don't make any fucking sense. Like it really doesn't. Like I don't understand the movie. I really don't understand the movie at all. Like this movie made me feel like a fucking idiot because I was like completely lost. I didn't understand any characters. I didn't understand anybody's motivation. I didn't understand like, God, you said it really well where things happen off screen and everyone like reacts to them like very importantly. Like the scene when Brad Pitt like tells Michael Fassbender that they're basically burnt. I'm like, what? Why? Like, what happened? Like, what? Why? And it's just like it's very, very
Like,
confusing.
did Fassbender do the deal with Javier Bardem, or did he do it with Brad Pitt, or did he do it with both of them?
I have no idea. I don't know. I thought he was in league with Javier Bardem because seemed like this big mob guy or whatever. But I guess he wasn't. Like he was like a middleman or something, I guess. I don't know. I'm pulling all this stuff from context because the movie doesn't tell you anything.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Javier Bardem just wants to open nightclubs.
Right.
Yeah. With
Brad,
his cheetahs.
like, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, at
And
one
he's telling
point,
his weird long story about trying to embarrass his friend.
Oh,
And
that,
his
yeah.
friend ends up hooking up with the girl instead. So then they
Yeah.
try and they get the shit kicked out of them. Like, I don't like.
Yeah, what was that? What that whole
What are
thing.
What are you even writing, man?
And that
Like, what
that
are you
lasted-
even writing
That
about?
lasted for like half an hour. Like that scene lasted forever.
like,
Yeah.
I know Brad Pitt was like talking about how he doesn't run with Javier Bardem anymore because he's too flashy and he's too much whatever, but they must still be doing work together. Otherwise everyone wouldn't have been implicated in the burn, right?
But what are they burning? Like that's the thing. Like what are they doing? They never make it clear what kind of illegal shit they're actually doing.
Well, they're part of that cocaine shipment, I think, or they're going to be part of a future cocaine shipment.
Oh, okay.
But like
septic tank,
the septic tank thing, because
septic truck.
the whole way that Fassbender gets implicated, it's not because he's bought into it. It's not because he's part of it yet. Or maybe it is. Maybe he's part of that shipment. And then when the son, Rosie Perez's son, gets killed, I will say this, that Brad Pitt has this one cool line that I really liked. It's like, they've heard of coincidences, but they don't believe in them. I was like, that's pretty good. Because they figure, okay, Fassbender bailed out this kid he doesn't know at Rosie Perez's behest, but it gets him out of jail to get his head cut off so the shipment can get stolen. They're just like, oh, he's in on it.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
I'm
You
doing
got
work.
way more out of it than I did.
But then Rosie Perez is the one that like puts the hit out on him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Like, you would have thought she would have been, you're right, Alex, because I would have thought she would have guardian angeled him. Like, she would have been like, oh no, he's all right.
No, Rosie Perez, it's explained that she just assumes that Michael Fassbender is in on it too, like for reasons like, I don't know at all. Like it's fucking terrible. Also, the Rosie Perez scene is fucking stupid again, this movie is like insanely horny. It ends with Rosie Perez like, do you want a blowjob? And it's like, what? Huh? Like, what is this? Again, I am not a prude. I am a Coomer for life. But like, this movie is like, I don't know. I don't know if Cormac McCarthy just needed some schniz or I don't know, but like he is very horny.
It's very horny.
And also like as someone that's read pretty much, I think I've read everything he's ever written. Like he doesn't do like romance well. Like he does not do love and romance very well. Like and specifically like sexual stuff. Like the only thing he's talented at writing it sexually is like disturbing shit. Like this, like I think that was like the biggest thing I took away from this. I was like, this is him trying to write like a love story in a weird way, but it does not work. Like, and Matt McCormick, if you're listening, yeah, I know All the Pretty Horses has some romance stuff in it, but like that doesn't count. Come on. Matt McCormick being the only person that reads in our audience.
I would say reading's stupid, but Matt McCormick is gigantic, so I'll just shut up.
Yeah, he's also 3/4 of a continent away.
I don't care. He could get here lickety split. He could show up one day. He knows where I live.
That is true.
I don't need that on me.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sorry, guys. I was kind of hoping this was going to be bad, but not in the way it was bad. Like, I was really, like, I thought maybe it would be, like, interesting, because again, like, I remember hearing negative feedback from it, but, like, it was from a bunch of critics I didn't really care about. I thought maybe it would be, like, they didn't like it because it was too nihilistic or whatever, but no, it's just bad. It's just really bad. I apologize. We should have watched The Road. Like, at least that's a good movie.
I mean, it's nihilistic and depressing.
It's about the same amount of depressing though.
Yeah, but at least it's entertaining. Like it's a good movie. I think that's a excellent film.
It is.
Yeah. But whatever, it's fine. I almost picked a movie that I specifically didn't pick because I thought you would just not be into it. There's a movie called Sunset Boulevard that it's Tommy Lee Jones and I think Samuel L. Jackson. I can't remember. But Cormac McCarthy wrote it. It's adapted from a play that he wrote, but it's literally about like an atheist and a super religious guy like talking about life. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to be the movie for the show. Like apparently it's very like play-y. Like it got good reviews, but I'm like, yeah, this is like a movie that's a 2.5 hour conversation. I don't think that's going to play well with the group.
Smart.
I've never seen it. It's on HBO. Tommy Lee Jones directed it, of all people. So.
Ooh.
But anyway. All right. 5 Knuckle Shuffle time. Alec.
1.
Yeah.
This movie is abject trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the length of it, I was like, oof, this isn't gonna be good. And then when it started playing, I was like, oof. That's not gonna be good.
This for me had the classic movie, the podcast thing where I paused it because I had to take a shit, and it was like, oh my god, there's an hour and 15 minutes of this.
Yeah. I had that moment when I was when I thought I missed some dialogue that must have been important, and I ran it back 5 seconds. I was like, oh god, there's an hour and a half left.
Yeah. Oh my lord.
But yeah, it's a 1. This is not. It's not fun. It's not anything. It's boring. It's confusing. It's boring and confusing. It's not very well acted. It's not very well written. Like, he crammed this thing with dialogue that is unnecessary. And it's directed by Ridley Scott, the wrong Scott.
Yeah. And Ridley, this is like the most like punch outy of Ridley Scott. Like this is this is bad Ridley Scott all over.
Ridley Scott's the one, or Tony Scott directed Man on Fire, right?
Yes.
And Tony Scott's Top Gun,
Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good ones.
The good Scott.
Tony Scott was good.
Yeah, this is no bueno. So it's a 1. Gods.
Yeah, it's a 1. It's bad. It's real bad. I almost gave it a 2, but it's a 1. I feel bad for everyone in it, I guess, as much as you can feel bad for rich actors.
Don't ever feel bad for millionaires.
No.
Good point. I like everyone in this movie. Like, I like all the actors and actresses in this film. They're just in a shit film that's poorly directed and poorly written. It's super confusing. If it was a book, it would have been, I wouldn't read the book now, but it might have been better. I don't know. The fact that I guess it was just went to straight to screenplay, I think is probably part of the problem. I'm assuming, but like it's just trash, and it's like overly long. And the end of it, you're not only you're confused, but you're sad and confused, and it's just like, ugh.
Well, like I don't understand I mean, I guess I get it in the sense of like, you can't make a difference, but like to make your protagonist completely inconsequential to the whole story is an odd choice.
Yeah, he's just along for the ride, right? Because there was they repeatedly basically said there's nothing you can do to change this.
And he didn't. He didn't.
Right.
And even in the instance where like he could do something, he didn't do anything.
Right.
He didn't do it. He cried in his room and then he got drunk and, yeah, that was it. Like, it was like, what, like he did nothing. Like, I don't.
Yep. So it's a 1, TJ.
It's also a 1 for me, dog. This movie is awful. And I think that just the parts that are bad are like so bad. Like the pacing is fucking terrible. The actual plot is fucking terrible. Cameron Diaz, the thing is like, the reason I harp on her so much in this movie is because in a weird way, the whole movie hinges on her and her character, and she is awful. Like she's so bad. And like, the final scene is with her, and generally speaking, I think like what that scene's trying to like establish is like the tone of the movie, like kind of like an ending, like a point to like, again, like I keep referring to No Country for Old Men, but No Country for Old Men is fucking brilliant because that a lot of people didn't like the ending because, again, it ended on a monologue and you didn't get the big showdown between Chigurh and fucking Tommy Lee Jones, but his monologue is explaining the point of the fucking movie, and it's brilliant. And I think that that's what they're trying to do with this movie, and it doesn't work at all, and I don't understand. And I don't know if I've ever been as lost in a movie, at least not in recent memory, that I have in this movie. Like, I felt like I was missing something. It felt like I had started a TV show in episode 13 or something out of like a 30 episode season. Like, I was like, what is going on? Who are these people? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just really bad. And like, it had some fun ideas. I actually like some of the like never ending monologues because I just eat some of that stuff up. Like, I really like the Bruno Gantz monologue. I thought it was weird as hell, but I kind of dug it. But like, the rest of this movie is just, it's so bad. And like, again, like, I felt like this is the most like boring direction, like flat, like let's just get this done direction, like over and over and over again. There's no real style to this movie to try to distract you from its other problems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just nothing to this movie, and it's real bad, and it sucks. And yeah, don't watch it. It's bad. Like, there's no need to watch it. I mean, if you want to watch a better movie about a woman fucking a car, watch Titan. It's much better. It's a much better movie. And way shorter, if memory serves.
Well, it certainly feels shorter.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this movie sucks. Sorry, guys. So what is next month? What is July?
Are you ready?
I am.
Let's go.
Are you I need to like put it.
Are you ready?
I'm not going to do it, but I need to put the DX. Remember the...
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
Boom, boom. That shit was great.
What was the name of that band?
I don't know, but I think
they just called them the DX band, but they had an actual name.
They did have a real name, yeah. And they played at WrestleMania or something, I want to say.
Yeah. Next month is a month TJ came up with a while ago. Clearly, he already forgot it.
I already forgot. Yeah.
4th of Cloned Guy.
I'm hilarious. Yes. 4th of Cloned Guy. Oh, I rock. That's a great one. Well, I have a pick already.
Is it Gemini Man?
No, I assume one of y'all are going to pick Gemini Man. No, I'm going to pick Duel. I really like that movie, and it's a cloned girl, but that's the Riley, Stevens movie, the guy that did, Art of Self-Defense.
Karen Gillan?
Yes. and it's already on the Plex, and I can't wait to rewatch it. So guys, you didn't watch that yet, right?
No, I remember you talking about it, right? Like
me and Sean watched it. We both really liked it.
Is that where she gets sick and then they like?
Yes.
I'm excited. I love Karen Gillan. She's great.
He's great in the movie. I don't know. Like I think I'm just excited for you guys to watch the movie. So. But yeah, and that's a good clone movie. There's so many clone movies. Like, that's why this is a good month. There's a ton of clone movies.
Oh, I'm gonna pick Multiplicity. I've never seen Multiplicity.
Ooh.
You could pick Moon. That's also a clone movie. There's so many clone movies.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick, I think I'm gonna pick, I mean, there's several Arnold Schwarzenegger clone movies, but I think I'm gonna pick, I can't remember, Oblivion, the Tom Cruise movie.
Oh, that's got clones in it? I've never seen that movie. Okay. I got a question for the room. Does Looper count?
No.
Because
Alternate Timeline U is not a clone.
Okay. All right. Fair
enough.
I wasn't going to pick it anyway, but.
No, I'm of the opinion that does not count.
But it does make another version of you. That's the whole point. Like you remember? That's how it worked. Or wait, did I say Looper? I meant Primer. Excuse me.
Oh, Primer.
I've never seen that. I don't know.
You should watch Primer, Alec. It's cool. It's an hour long.
By that logic, we could watch The Prestige.
I think that absolutely counts. Remember, he makes that definitely counts.
Yeah.
That movie fucking.
That movie goes. Hard.
I love that movie.
So, Duel.
But yeah, we're gonna watch Duel, cause I'm excited for you guys to watch, cause both of you guys saw Art of Self-Defense, right?
I loved Art of Self-Defense.
Did you, Alec, you saw one of his movies, didn't you? Didn't you watch, didn't we watch one of his, I'm trying to think. I thought we watched one of his movies on the show. I guess not. He did Faults, he did Art of Self-Defense, I'm missing one. It doesn't matter. I really like Art of Self-Defense a lot. But anyway, I like all his movies. Fault's really good too. And he was married to Mary Elizabeth Winstead, which is something that I wish I could do in my life.
Well, there you go.
Was married, not anymore.
Well, then, so you still could do it.
I think she's dating Ewan McGregor.
But not married.
Giant penis. So.
She'll probably get tired of it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, but.
It wears on you.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Later, dudes.
Bye, guys.